to ensure
Yeah.
safety.
Mm-hmm.
Good questions. Lots to think about.
Yeah.
Yes, in the chats, I think it's Rod saying either that or we will need a break from all this technology.
Yeah, that's true.
It is so true.
Sorry, I just want to say hello to Mary Elizabeth and Heather and Mel and Diane and Gwendolyn, like people that I've been seeing in the sessions. Diane, everybody like returning each week. It's nice to see you guys, and we appreciate the time you're taking. Like, I know there's a huge demand on everybody's time, and so like just like some recognition that like so nice of you guys to be investing in all this thinking with everybody and sharing of ideas, because it's not an easy time and it is hard to make the time to come. So we appreciate it and think it's amazing of you guys to be doing that.
I just want to share, it's Heather, I just want to share that I penciled this into my weekly schedule because I have learned so much from you guys. So, and it's great to see some familiar faces.
That's so nice, Heather.
I'll show you mine here. Well, there I am, but I'm showing the big hair, so I'll just shut it off for now. But it is great to see and hear you guys. Thank you.
Oh, awesome. Nice to see you too.
Yeah. Like Heather being there, like, so Heather and I we went to Teachers College at the same time, and we taught at Queenie at the same time. So it's like when Heather's around, I feel like I'm at home. I love that.
Oh, nice one, Sally. Okay. Well, and Pam taught my oldest, and Pam, I won't tell you how old he is.
I was going to say that. I know, like I taught him when he was in grade 4. I used to always call him Young McGregor Young.
Yeah, that's him. That's him. Yeah, he will be, I got to do my math here. He was 20, got to think about it here, 27?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's engaged to be married. So that,
oh, exciting.
Yeah. Not for a couple of years. It's going to happen. So, and I'm just the mother of the groom, so I don't have to worry about all that other stuff.
Exactly. Well, that's exciting. Yeah, it's hard. To me, they're always still 10 though.
That's right. Oh, yeah.
I see them
still
out
my baby.
with their own children sometimes, and I'm like, what is going on? I'm actually,
he will always be my
teachers. I've actually taught them too, so that's kind of funny.
Anne also has a son getting married this September. Okay, I think we're going to get started. It is 2:01, so we've got a ton of stuff to talk about today. I'm really excited for today's session. Yeah. So let's get rolling because we got lots to get in here. So first, I'm going to start off with a joke, though. We'll let you read that.
It did take me a second to actually clue into what this is saying.
I love that dog's face.
I know, it's so cute.
Okay, so let's go to the next slide.
Okay, so we've kind of had a welcome back, but thanks for anyone who's joining us a little bit late. This week we have Sally Parkinson and myself, Kate, and we are instructional coaches for the board. And we're going to be showing and sharing some stuff and listening to your questions, and we'd love to hear from you too.
We thought this video is kind of representative of our session. Like you'll listen to the lyrics because it's kind of representative of what we're doing here. And then it's also a topic we're discussing is provocation today. So this could be a provocation, and I can see Mrs. Shank's son there. He's having a provocation moment right now. I think he's thinking about what is happening in this video. So I'm going to press play. Oh, no, I'm not. Let's see why that's working. Let's see. There we go.
All right, stop, collaborate and listen. I sit back with my brand new invention.
Could everybody hear that?
Yep, we can hear it.
Yeah, okay, good. So stop, collaborate, and listen. And I thought, like, this is such a great topic that, like, just that little clip that you could start out your session and then talk about collaborating and, like, what does that mean? And, like, obviously somebody collaborated on this contraption here, and I think it would totally interest the boys in your, so, well, I guess I shouldn't generalize like that, but it would interest some students, and I think it would interest Alicia's son there that was watching. Okay.
Just so you know, the cool kids are calling it collab. That's the new
Collab?
thing. Yeah, collab.
We're collabing right now.
That's right. Yes, I learned that. this
It's nice
week.
having kids because then like you get in on the lingo that's happening.
Yeah.
Okay, so we wanted to start off with the traditional territorial land acknowledgement. This picture is of the Snai River, and I was thinking, oh, it's such a nice time this time of year, so I Googled the Snai, and this picture come up, so I click on it, I'm like, that's a nice picture, so we'll use that. And then guess who took the picture? Our own Ben Hazard.
He's everywhere.
I know. I was like, and it was like a really old picture of him and his family. Well, like maybe 10 years ago. And I was like, oh, it's Ben. So we would just like to acknowledge that the land on which we are connecting through today is part of the traditional territories of the Chippewa, Odawa, Potawatomi, and Delaware nations.
Okay, and so if you haven't been joining us, or even if you have and you might not know, but we do a little clips video to recap. It's a micro video. Recap what we do each week in the sessions in case you miss it, and they're all housed on the remote learning page, which you can find through the blog spot, and there's the info there. And then these are also shared on the platforms that are on this page, and they just give you a quick overview of what we talked about last week. And last week's topic was micro videos. So we won't play it for you, but that's just the overview in case you want to go and check that out. We might refer to that word like micro videos today. And so we won't go into like deep into that, but if you want to know more about it, there's a session that's on there for it.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that clip gives a quick overview of the micro video and what it's about. Like, it's really good. Kate did it. I thought it was like awesome because it just really captures all the key points. So today we are going to be talking about these topics. So we're kind of thinking about trying something new for the office hours, and like we are completely open to suggestions from all of you, but we are thinking that maybe we could start structuring our office hours like this, like having starting off with a new tool or activity. So it might, that section there might be like a new tool, or it might be a combination of tools that we've already examined and how somebody is using them. And then the spotlight on a teacher, we're going to hope that we can get some teachers to come and join us, and just like a sharing of best practices and things that they've done, the struggles that they've had trying to get it going, and then talking about like how we might use those ideas that they're using. We have Leslie Fraley here today, and she is showing us what she did this week on Tuesday. And I think it's dynamite, so I'm excited for you guys to see it. Then provocation videos. So last week, that section was micro videos. We spent a little longer on it last week than we are going to spend on it this week. But we're hoping to add a different type of video each week. And then we're hoping to end with hot topics. So things that you want to talk about and like ask, like we probably won't know the answers. We might, but we'll try. So if we do know the answers, we'll share them, but maybe somebody might have the answers, or maybe it's something we ask to come back, or maybe we know somebody who might have the answer that we can direct you to. But even just to be able to like vent and talk about those situations that are challenging with all this new stuff. I think that's the purpose, Kate? Yep.
We know that there's a lot going on out there, and we hear that like it's challenging, right? There's nothing normal about what we're doing and regular, and I think it's good to talk about the challenges and the successes, right? So we want to just offer that up as like an option for chatting about it.
Yeah, because like you're saying, success is like, so if it's a challenge to me, you might have had success with it in some way that you can share with me, so then I can get over that hurdle a little bit faster.
Yep. Or you might hear information that someone else doesn't know yet. It's good to, that's how we get things, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna start off with the tool activity then. So you can see down here on the right hand side there's a YouTube. So that's gonna be the new tool, like using YouTube to incorporate videos into a Google Forms.
And when we say using YouTube, I think what we're showing you is like your own YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not talking about just linking a video. We're talking about like when you make your own video, such as a micro video, and you want to embed that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because we're going to show you here in a second this Google form that we created and put a micro video, instilled micro videos. So it's kind of a combination thing here. Like we're using what we learned last week, micro videos. We're using Google Forms, which we talked about early on. And then we're using YouTube to do this process.
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm going to just exit out of present here, and we're going to go to this package here. So you're going to, at the end of the session, we are sharing kind of everything that we have. There's a link at the end. So this is one thing that will be shared. It's a link to this folder right here. And this folder is that Google form. And so it has like some stuff here that will help you, but within it is the form. So there's one that has just images, but this one has the micro videos instilled in it or embedded in it. So this is for parents actually, this form. It's the remote, like we're all collecting data this week from parents. And so the, so this form is one way to go about that. And it's hopefully still kind of like getting to the point of what we're looking to, why we're doing that. So I'm going to show you the form real quick. I'm going to show it to you in preview mode. So I'm going up to this little eyeball, and it will show you what the people who get the form will see. So they'll see like, please watch these videos. You have some options. There would be a letter that's already sent out in advance telling that they're going to go into this form. Has the videos. Then it says like which option. You can see the red star saying that it's required. They must answer it. This one talks about like want to hear from you. Like even though these options are presented, this is a chance like for us to connect and discuss anything. Would you like to discuss this further? Yes, please call me. Please email me. No, thanks. Then they have to provide their child's name. It's required. Both of those are required. That's way you can connect the data to the person who's answering, and their preferred contact. And then this one is just saying like, hey, I'm new to this. We're all new to this. Let me know if something's not working out. So then like, because if it's happening for you, then it's going to be happening for other families too. So here's a chance for you to answer right here, a long answer. So that's it. That's what the form is. I'm going to just show you the first micro video inside of it. Option 1, learning on demand and live teacher support. Means that your child is able to access the work in a time that works for you and your family. Their work will be there for them when they are ready to start. This work is assigned by the teacher. It could be questions, reading, writing, math, or pre-recorded video demonstrations. These activities can be worked through at your child's own pace. There might be situations where your child is asked to review a task before meeting at a specific time with their teacher. The biggest difference between option 1 and option 2 is that there is live teacher support at least twice per week. This live support could be through a Google Meet or phone calls. The Google Meet could occur in a variety of ways. It could be small group, whole class, or during office hours when the teacher is available to support with homework. The amount of work to be assigned is still 5 hours for kindergarten to grade 6 and 10 hours for grade 7 and 8. Okay. So that's just like the micro video has been instilled into the form, and then the form's pushed out. Parents can watch it. There's some like, I would say there's some good benefits to this because you can personalize this. Like you could, like if this is your video, if you like wanted to use this form, embed your own video, then it's like a more personal thing that parents are going to hear, and you can put in what you think is really important to be in there with respect to each option. And I
think, Sally, it's good too because if they hear your voice, then they know like the tone that this option is being brought to them. instead of them putting their own tone to it, which actually makes it a little easier to understand what it's about.
Yeah. And like when teachers are discussing that, they can put on like that no judgment, like it's what works best for you and your family. Like we're here to support and make it work for you.
Yeah, and I think the best part of this form is that it actually has extra feedback, right? So I'm thinking about option 3, and what does that actually look like for them? That might look different for different families, which we can talk about later in the hot topics area.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I know you want to get into your adding the
how we get to add those YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing that I just think is like, there's less barriers here. Like it's a video, people can listen, it's easier for them to access to. Okay, so how do we put a video into this? So I'm gonna go here and I'm just going to create a new form. So it'll be in this folder for me. Now I could fill all this in. There's also pre-made templates, which is really nice. So you could just add that. So all I did was start with pressing this icon here. Can you see it? The little like video icon. If you want to embed the video, you click on that and then you insert the YouTube link. So if you're going to use this, my understanding is the only way you can do it is by having that YouTube link. And we as like members of LKDSB have access to having our own YouTube account using the LKDSB.com, our Gmail. Is that your perception, Kate?
Yep, I think so. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody has access to YouTube, to making a YouTube channel because they have an LKDSB.com, which is within the Google domain.
Okay. I'm going to go to YouTube. You just Google, you create your account. You'll see here, mine's already connected because I've created an account using my .com, and you can see, oh, maybe you can't, but in there, like you would go in there, you'd see it's my .com account. So create that account, and to add a video, it has to be downloaded to your computer. So you're not going to be uploading it from Google Drive, you're going to be uploading it from your computer. So click on that add upload video. And then it says, can you see the select files? It says select files.
We can see this,
Yeah, so I'm gonna click on that right now. You're not going to be able to see my information that's on my computer, but what comes up is like my file folder of like all the downloads that are in my computer. I'm gonna just click on a quick little movie and upload it. So once I click on the file that I want, I just have to click open and it starts to like upload to YouTube. So then we have these options here. So I have to keep moving things around on my screen because I have things that you can't see. So this says Dandelion, it's like a quick video. It's at 95% processed. So it's working through to put stuff. While it's doing that, I can scroll down in this first bullet, the details, and I can say, yes, it's made for kids, or no, it's not made for kids. So yes, I could say that's made for kids. It talks about how like there won't be ads and notifications. So I'm clicking on that. If you want it to go to a specific playlist that you've created in there, like see here, you can make your own playlist. You just click done. So it's going to go to my science class playlist. And then within video elements, I don't really use that. But here I go to unlisted because I don't want, like personally, I don't want all like everything I post in here to be shared. Like it's like you can make specific ones. I don't want this to be just a broad open to anybody. I want it to be anybody who I want to see. So I'm putting a link. I can copy the link and then share it with those people. So I clicked unlisted. And then I think that's it. I think now I can just go to save. Oops. This button right down here, save. And now it's in there. And I now have the link right here, which I am going to copy. I think I can copy with that little, can I copy with this?
Yep,
Yeah.
you can copy with that little thing. Yep.
Okay, so, and then that's it, it's done. So I'm going to close that YouTube channel out. I'm going to go back to my form now. So see, I'm back at my YouTube where it was asking for that link. I'm going to paste that link in, and then it comes up, that quick little video that I uploaded. I click it, I select it, and then just press select. And then that video is going to upload right into the Google form. So.
Yeah, that's so quick and easy, right? And we will say that this was like a, what was it, a 5-second video?
Yeah.
So it didn't take a long time to upload, but if you do have, you know, like a 3 or 4 minute video, you will be on that download page for a little bit longer.
It's kind of neat because when it's on your YouTube, so when you have, once you've uploaded it, you'll have some videos in there. You can see your videos that you've uploaded, and then you can see how many times it's been viewed.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of neat.
Mm-hmm.
So like you'll see in a minute, I sent something out to a classroom today for tomorrow, and I'm going to be able to go in later and see how many students have watched it. So then that kind of gives me an idea of how many students are going to be coming to that session tomorrow.
Diana's saying, can you just quickly show her she missed how you started Inform to link the video.
Okay. So
there's that little play button there.
Yeah, that little play button right there. So I just click it, and then I would put in there the video that I want, the link.
And you get that link, Diane, from your YouTube channel. There's a little copy button that you can copy it, and then you just paste it in there.
Yeah, so that's uploading a micro video. I'm going to go.
Sally, you know how you were talking about how you can see who has viewed it? It doesn't tell you which students have viewed it. And the only way that you would know is if this was within a form and it was required, if you made that video required to be watched, and then when they submit the form, then hopefully you know that they have watched it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so one thing I was thinking was like, maybe we could just have a quick discussion in the chat. I can't see the chat right now. Bring it back up. But how could you use this with your students in the class? Like, so this is an example of like collecting information from parents, but how could we take micro videos and forms and use that in the classroom? Like what might you do? Like what might you use it for? So give everybody a second to, like, if anybody wants to type in the chat, if they have any ideas to share. I'm going to see if I can pull my chat up somehow.
Nothing yet. Diane, still not sure. Okay, so Diane, when you are creating a form, on the right, when you're deciding what questions to ask, it looks like a little play button. That's where you're going to add the video. Mm-hmm. It looks just like the YouTube play button.
Yeah, it looks like this right here on the bottom.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But except for it's not in color.
That's the first thing that that's the thing you tap on the right when you're trying to decide what question to ask, like a short answer, long answer, multiple choice, or add a video. It was in that little. Is that helpful? Scott Hopper, which I think is Christine, is that right?
I can't see what you're pointing at.
Is saying like a quick math lesson.
You're not on the screen though. Like, I don't know where I am right now.
And
sorry, there's somebody talking.
Yeah, I think Diane's talking about, she wants you to go back to the screen where you click the form.
I can do that for sure.
Yeah. But while you're doing that, other people are saying in the chat to do a math lesson. That's a great idea. A quick exit ticket or a quiz after a demonstration of a concept, right? So have a video as the concept, I'm assuming, and then they have a quick quiz after that. Yes, it's Christine. I remembered that. Good. Yay.
Yay. Okay.
Oh, and then someone said, oh, sorry. Would you like to answer Diane there?
Yeah, sure. Diane, can you see the form right now?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So do you see can you see where?
Okay. I couldn't see that before because your pictures were on top of it.
Oh, really?
Oh,
okay.
You know what, Diane? Are you on a laptop?
No.
Okay.
Sure, yes, I am.
Okay, you can actually, if you hit above where you see our pictures, like just put your mouse just above like whoever's head's at the top, there's a menu. You can actually drag and pull that around.
Right, but I couldn't even see where your mouse was before, so I didn't know you were clicking.
Oh, okay.
If I can't see your mouse, I don't know you're clicking. You're just talking.
Right.
Yeah.
I can't ask what I don't know to ask.
Yes, you're right. Sorry about that. Thanks for clarifying
Thank
though.
you.
And I'm glad you spoke up, Diane. Okay, so let's go back to present mode.
Okay, so someone else is saying it's a great idea. You could do see, think, wonder idea, where you add a video and then have students answer a series of questions. You
Yeah.
can see all of the wonders and
Mhm.
guide the lesson from there.
And you know what? On forums, you can share, like, so everybody could see the responses. You can click that button that says, like, let everybody see. That would be neat, because then they could see their.
Like in
Remember
the spreadsheet?
Kate and I took a tech course just recently, and in that tech course, somebody produced like a whole. Do you remember seeing that? Like all the Google Forms, and they had like a whole bunch of different ways you can use Google Forms.
Yeah.
Wonder if we should. I'll add that to our show notes, because it had examples of all kinds of different forms that you can use like in the classroom for collecting like responses and students thinking. And they were good prompts, so
Yeah.
we should share that.
Yeah, we should. That was a good one. Good idea. Do they see other ideas before they answer or after?
After.
I think you can wait until they're all in and then you can do it after. And then Christine is saying that it could just be like a fun social discussion piece for a community circle, which I think is like awesome, right? It's good to keep that part of our classroom going for sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, thank you.
Hey, so Sally, it's already 25 after.
No, we got to roll.
I know, we gotta get going.
Okay, so it's time for Leslie. She was having some computer difficulties, but I think she's okay now. So Leslie is our teacher that is going to share with us today. So she had a Google Meet on Tuesday, and she used Jamboard. So Leslie, I'm gonna let you take over. I'm going to share my screen of your work, and I'm gonna just let you take over and explain what you did and tell us the process. Tell us the good and the bad. We want to know the bad, because then we can all learn from it.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep, hear
Okay.
you loud and clear. So I'm just gonna exit out of this for a second. And I am going to go to your Jamboard. Okay.
Okay. So really this is all of Sally's ideas. So it's really her that we need to thank. It's not me. And of course, on Tuesday, I was having technical issues and panicking. And then I messaged her and she's like, oh, I'll just come on and share it for you. And because that was my main issue. Well, I was excited to try Jamboard because, well, Sally had shared it. And so then I was messaging her about that. Can you teach me this? Can you teach me that? So again, I always find it easier to ask somebody to explain it to me than to watch all the how-to videos on YouTube. So we were kind of chatting through it a little bit. And then it was time for me to do the meet. And of course, I couldn't get my iPad to present mode, which has been a struggle for me. So I found something else that worked today. And today I was able to do it by myself without Sally. And it was successful. So I was excited about that. So what I did was I took some of the images from the stuff that Sally and Kate had shared on that one that we did earlier, where it was images to provoke thinking. So this is for Math for Love, which, by the way, is one of my new favorite math sites. I like that guy already, and I love that game. I make my kids play it with me all the time, that Prime Climb game.
Yeah.
Prime Climb or Prime Club? I can never remember. I say it wrong.
I think it's Climb, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so he's the author of that game. Math for Love is the site. And so there's all kinds of great stuff on there and all kinds of images. And so I put this picture up first and we just did a bit of a number talk with it. And again, fortunately I had Sally because she presented and then I don't have a stylus for my iPad. So I did find today when it came to actually writing on there with the computer, that was hard.
Mm-hmm.
So haven't found a way to work around that yet. But yeah, we just kind of did this like a number talk. How many total dots do you see on the total dice? And share your thinking. And we had actually a pretty good discussion about that. And then,
Sorry, can I just butt in there for a second? It's unfortunate because I must have erased this stuff, or one of us did, and we're able to circle right on top. And like, I was just her pen, and she was like, they were kind of directing. And so we were able to circle on top, record their thinking and stuff. So it was kind of neat.
yeah, it went well. And then I had another one as a follow-up. And so again, we had a couple of students. It was kind of neat, actually, that a couple of the kids who talked shared their strategy, and then they switched. And then when we did this one, they were like, oh, I like so-and-so's strategy better. And that student was like, oh, actually, I liked that student's strategy better for this one. Anyways, it was really neat because I felt like I was actually working with them again in the classroom for like a brief half an hour. And it was good that way.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Good. And the students were commenting in the chat like, I love this. This is great. Like, they were liking it. So
Yeah, and so I had them all mute their mics because obviously that's another issue. And then I would just have them, if they wanted to say something, if they wanted to share their thinking, I'd have them just type me in the chat, and then I'd say, okay, so-and-so, unmute your mic, and then tell us how you got that answer or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And this is another one of my favorite games to play with the kids. I hadn't actually played it with this class yet. It's from Marilyn Burns, called 4 Strikes and You're Out. And basically it's just like Hangman, and you can choose the numbers. You can see the bottom there. So they guess a number, and you make up an equation ahead of time. And they guess a number, and then if the number is in the equation, then you write the number in. And then there's actually a lot of logical reasoning and stuff that they have to use, because they'll start to get numbers in the ones column, maybe in the answer, maybe they have one in the question and one in the answer, so then they have to think, okay, well, what would the other one be? Anyways, it was kind of a fun way to play it. And again, I use a lot of games in my classroom, so I think it made them feel like we were kind of back playing games together.
Yeah.
So
those two examples were like, that was like kind of a whole class, like everybody's joining in and taking turns and sharing, and then you moved on to this.
Yeah.
Can I just ask a quick tech question? So if everybody's mic was muted, how did they join in on that?
In the chat. I had them use the
okay.
chat. And then when they wanted to talk, and they would guess a number in the chat, and then I would kind of pick the first number that was typed and then go back or whatnot.
And you also like would say, okay, I want to hear from so-and-so, and then they would unmute, and then they would share their thinking.
Yeah, I kind of have them stop and pause and say, okay, I want you to think before you make another guess. I want you to think, what do we know has to be in the ones column for that number or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, so it was good because it was just, I saw math thinking again, and some of the stuff I've been sending out, I've sent out a bunch of which one doesn't belong, and like the stuff they're submitting is just garbage, and they would do better if you were there prompting them. So I guess it just made me feel like, oh look, they still can think.
And they want to. They really
do.
Want to.
It's just if you're not there, they don't.
I know.
They want to get it done. So
I know.
Okay, and then this we kind of played around with. So this is also from Math for Love. It's called Broken Calculator. And so the goal, you can see on the side of the screen there, is 21. And what they had to do is figure out a way to get the answer of 21 with certain numbers blocked out. So what I did for this was I added in, Sally, if you go to the top there and just click the little arrow to drag them to, like, so it shows all the slides I have up there, I guess. Yeah, that one.
So I just click it?
Yeah,
Oh,
there we go. So you can
thanks.
hit those
I never
three.
did do that.
You can hit those 3 dots up there, and then you can duplicate the screen. And so I had 2 different ones, and I wasn't quite quick enough, but one was more challenging and one was easier. And I was trying to, as kids showed up, kind of match up the more challenging ones with the more capable students. I don't know if that's actually the right way to say that, but anyways, you know what I mean.
Once you're ready for that challenge kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's a better way to say it.
Okay, so hang on. So
Yeah.
what you're saying is that each kid had their own page to work on.
Yes. So
Okay,
what
and
I
then
did
you
was,
titled the page for them and gave them the question you wanted them to work on.
yeah. So
Okay.
what you do
That's kind of neat.
to send them that, so you just click the link up top there in the, what's the word for that thing? Where the link is, way up top. You just copy
The address bar?
Yes,
Here.
the address bar. Thanks.
Okay.
You
Oh, up
copy
here.
it. Yep. So you just copy and paste that into your chat in your Meet, and then the kids can click the link, and then it takes them right to it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
so
you could
then-
probably click that link and put it in our chat and we could all get on this.
Yeah, yeah. And so then, like, what I tried to do on Tuesday was, as kids were joining and they were just kind of having a little bit of chat time, I went up and tried to put their name on the sticky note on the slide so they knew exactly which slide to go to. Today, when I did it, I didn't have as many kids and I didn't have Sally with me. So I trusted them to just go in and pick a slide and stick their name on the sticky note themselves. And it worked out pretty well.
Did it go, so there's a question in the chat says, does this mean they can see each other's work? Yes, they can see each other's work and everybody's working on their own page at the same time.
Yeah.
So Leslie's there and she can scroll through those pictures, see what everybody's doing, see if anybody's struggling. She's there and she can say, oh, so-and-so, you want to chat about this? While everybody else is working on their page. So it's like, it's kind of like being in the classroom.
Yeah, so I think what happened, because we saw a few repetitive answers. So I think what happened is some kids who were struggling went and looked at other kids' answers and then copied it. But you know what? On Tuesday, it was all about, is this going to work? You know, it was more about the tech aspect for me and seeing if it even would work. So I wasn't necessarily concerned about the math so much. And I kept telling them that. I was like, don't worry if you don't have an answer. I just want to see if you can figure out how to write on this and so on. The thing with Jamboard is you can't type right on it. You can only type on the sticky notes.
Yeah.
So if you haven't used Jamboard before, you can only type on the sticky notes because that took me a little bit to figure out.
Yeah.
And so probably did most kids use sticky notes then?
Yeah, I think so. Well, Sally, you can click through some of the slides and see some of the other work. Yep.
You can see my writing because I was recording what they were saying, like as they were describing how they did it, when we were like kind of talking through each slide with the students, I just recorded how they were describing what they're doing, like with numbers. So that's not their writing. The sticky notes is theirs.
I think Gwen has a question. So when you paste the link, it doesn't go to a specific slide. It just goes to this Jamboard, and then they have to find the slide that has their name on it. Is that right?
Yes.
And then how long did you let them work on their own individual slide?
Well, I could kind of scroll through and see, like, of course, they need a couple of minutes to figure out, okay, am I going to write with my finger or am I going to type on the sticky note? So I could kind of scroll through and start seeing when people were getting answers down.
Right.
And so I kind of just gave them time and I scrolled through, and if people were stuck, like Sally was helping one student and giving her some clues. Altogether, this whole thing now, I don't think we probably got started till about 10 after 11, was it, Sally?
Yeah.
And I think we were on there until like 11:56. So this whole thing was almost an hour.
And they were engaged the whole time. Like they were loving this.
Yeah, they were actually pretty good. Now I only had about 9 kids show up, I think.
Today or day? I feel like there's more that day.
Was there more that day? Maybe it was.
You had to add slides. Like if you look, we have 14.
I think I feel like the way that you're describing it, the reason that it maybe was so good for you and them is because it was interactive.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it sounds like, right? Because they can see you and hear you and each other, and then also do their own work.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Gwendolyn, I just saw your question. I didn't tell them to download Jamboard in advance. And so we didn't have any issues with that. So I'm assuming, yeah, it would still work because I didn't even think about that. They had to have it downloaded actually.
You know what? I think if you actually put in the thing, if you're on an iPad, it will prompt you to say, you open it on an app and then it will say from the App Store, and then you just click no, and then it will direct you to the web browser version.
Okay. Because
you look at this here, like I clicked on that share button. This is really important right here. Anyone who has the link can edit.
Oh yeah, right.
Sometimes it will say anybody within the board, and you don't want that because then if they're not logged in with if they're in Google Meet, they're probably logged in, but if they're not, then it will avoid them not getting in.
And also you have to change that to edit. because that was a technical issue we had to when we were on there. The kids got on, but they couldn't write on there. And then I realized I hadn't changed it so that they could edit.
Mm-hmm. I think like that was their first time doing it. And like, really it was like minor how like the little things that had to get sorted out. Like they're very, like kids are just so fluent with using the computer, right? That it wasn't too much of a challenge at all, I thought.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think the brilliant part about this is that like you're able to work with the students. Like that's like a real-time feedback that you would be doing in the class, and you were able to identify who needs extra support and who could maybe get an extension. Like you can see all that.
Yeah, it was good. It felt like I felt those warm fuzzies that you get in the classroom when we were done. I know that's annoying, but
No, that's
awesome.
That's like just going.
You know what? I feel like I should reiterate. Someone in our chat last week said that because we talked, the stylist thing is becoming a thing for people who are wanting to do this. And I remember someone said that like if your kids have a gaming thing and they have a stylist with their gaming thing, that works really well. So I don't know if maybe you want to throw that out to your class too.
Yeah, that might help them.
I bet you if I ask Joy, she'll buy me one.
You know what? I have a decent one and it was like $30.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Are you all done with me?
If anybody has any other questions?
No, everybody's loving it. Thanks so much for sharing, Leslie. That's so great.
Nice.
No problem. I
just feel like I'm learning so much, Leslie. Thank you. That's amazing. Sorry, it's Ben just chiming in because I randomly do that. But thanks for doing that. That's I love the fact that you get the goosebump feeling after, even when we're not face to face. So it, you know, and so neat to be able to have kids working on their own work and be able to flip to the different pieces and then have them check it, their learning and their thinking. And anyways, just so much great stuff there. Thanks for sharing.
They've got their heads on their pillows, you know. Anyways, it was really all Sally, so I need to thank her.
It was not. It definitely wasn't me. That was you. And I have to say, Leslie, like you are managing this like chat here way better, because for the first like 5 sessions, I was like, oh my God, like I can't handle the chat and do the slides and talk to, like, I can't do all that at once. And here you're like talking about what you did, you're reading the questions in the chat and you're answering it. You're amazing.
The one-woman show.
Hardly.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna move on then. So I loved how Leslie did that, like that independent work. So I am teaching a lesson tomorrow in somebody's class. So I'm using what Leslie did. I'm adjusting it a little bit. Like I'm taking her ideas and I'm making it fit for what I'm doing with this class. So this class is struggling with understanding like how many tens in like 650, right? So something like that. So I created a little micro video. It's a little bit more than a micro video because there's like fancy stuff in it. I would say it's maybe a provocation in the beginning, but then a little bit. So I'm going to play the video. I'm going to use this tomorrow in a lesson. So this is going out in advance. Before we meet for math, I want you to think about the answer to this question. How many tens are in 1,237? Can you see how many tens are in this number? When seeing the base 10, the answer might have popped right into your head. You can pause the video to think about your answer. You might have decided that there are 3 tens in this number. Could there be more than just 3 tens? In the best interest of making your brain grow, your teacher has decided that you cannot represent hundreds and thousands with these base 10 blocks. You will only be allowed to use tens to represent the entire number. How many tens will you have? Come to class ready to share your thinking. You could Google number pieces by Math Learning Center to help you solve this problem. But remember, you're only using tens. I'm going back. So that is it's went out this morning. And then I've prepared a Jamboard, just like Leslie did, to kind of, I know they're coming, they're gonna watch the video, hopefully. And then we're gonna talk about this and we're gonna talk about tens. And then I've just got the the activity set up. So as the students come in, I'm going to assign them to a page. All I'll have to do is click on the sticky note, write a name, and then add it, just like Leslie was doing. And then it's ready to go. And then I'm going to be able to like talk to them, see who's struggling, see who needs some support. And then actually, sorry, there's a second video they'd watch before, like, so there's going to be a little mini lesson. There's a second video that talks about the 1,237 and using base 10 and manipulatives just to make it go a little bit faster. And then we're going to consolidate at the end with some questions to like extend that thinking and make sure that everybody knows why it's useful. Then they're going to have an exit ticket from the forms, like which we're becoming familiar with, right? So they have an exit ticket. It's going to make them say their name, and then they're going to use that image to help them based on what they're going to learn. And then there's like some questions here for them to answer, some images embedded to help them. And then at the end, there's these questions. What did you like most about today's lesson? What didn't you like about today's lesson? Because I think it's going to help guide how we, like, listening to students might help us how we're going to, like, give us some ideas for how we might teach.
There's lots of people in the chat wondering if you can share.
Yes, that's in those notes. Like, so this whole lesson is ready and you'll be able to like access it through the notes that we're going to share at the end of the slides. I think that was all I wanted to share about that one. Okay, we need to move on to these provocation videos, Kate.
I know. Time is so fast today.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so you're gonna get started here, Kate?
Yeah, sorry, I've just been entranced by all that's going on that I've sort of been, okay. So we're moving on to provocation videos, and a provocation video is what it says here, an open-ended video that aims to motivate or pose a question. So I have a quick one here. This is by Graham Fletcher and his website. This is part of a 3-act task. It's the first act of a 3-act task.
Which the best thing about 3-act tasks is like they have provocation videos, and so like we don't have to
start. Yeah,
we don't have to redo something.
Yeah, they're just great.
Sorry, I don't know. Sometimes I hit that play button on the thing and it doesn't work. There we go.
And that's it. That was the provocation. So from that, we are enticing the kids to sort of want to know more, right? What are they gathering from that short little video? In this case, it's of course about how many cubes are in there, but then it leads to sort of a bigger picture of volume and how we calculate volume and how you see that. And then in this particular instance, Act 2 is where he gives a little bit more information. And then Act 3 is where he reveals the answer. So then they do a little bit of math after Act 2. And then in Act 3, he shows the answer with another little video. So they are pretty neat and totally available to do via remote learning. Mm-hmm. If we go to the next slide, we can dive into a little bit more about what provocation videos are. Because when you're showing a video, you always want to be intentional about what you're doing. And so it poses a problem or an idea. So just as the sugar cube one we saw, and it piques their curiosities, right? So it's not maybe something that we're interested in, but it's something that the kids would be interested in. So we always got to keep that one in mind. What comes up next? Oh yeah, so Sally and I were chatting about this yesterday, and it prompts what is happening in the video. So the kids have to be like, what is happening? He's showing us a box of sugar cubes and a sugar cube. So what's going on there? I'm trying to put two things together, and then we're wondering why. Why is he showing us that, right? What is the bigger picture here? And the bigger picture for that one particularly is volume.
Yeah, I think as we go along and show some more videos, like sometimes when you're like asking what happened, it's like, well, why would that happen? So that provocation will like promote that thinking, like, well, yeah, that just happened, so why is it happening? You'll see some more like examples too of that later on as we go.
Mm-hmm. And so versus micro videos from last week, provocation videos use text and images and animation and sound. You don't have to have all those things because it's not like that's sort of the definition, but those are sort of the augmentations that make provocations videos a little more enticing to watch.
Yeah, they're supposed to elicit, like some of that stuff elicits emotional response that gets like hooked and drawn.
And then of course it has what they call like a call to action, which means that the viewer has to do something or feel something or want to act on something they got from the video.
Good, so that's it. That's
yeah. I feel like we could do a whole segment just on 3-act tasks.
Yeah, we totally could.
Yeah, we could. Okay, so they are, sorry, am I continuing here? Yeah. Oh, no, you are.
Okay, so just there's different ways that we can do that, and Kate kind of already mentioned it. Like we can elicit that emotional response and like get some more thinking by adding text, voice, and music. And then like we put down one way to create them is through clips. Like we use clips. It's just so easy, and I know that a lot of people feel that way about clips. So if you don't know about clips, like you could email Kate or I, and we could help explain that if we don't get to it at some point. But there's other things too, like iMovie, there's Keynote, there's other ways you can do that and create it, but it's kind of just like, that's the process through, oh yeah, Pam's saying shadow puppet. So process through which we can create these provocation videos, and they're usually less than 90 seconds. Like the ones you're gonna see today are probably like all around 30 seconds. There was one at the very beginning, it was 5 seconds. So they're pretty quick, but sometimes they can be longer. There's no rules. That has to be.
You want to keep them engaged though, right? Your audience.
Okay, so we have our first video for you. So this is the one where it's like, well, what just happened and why did that happen? Like it makes kids think, well, why would that happen? That's the purpose. Whoops. If I can play it. Let's try it again. There we go.
What do you know that floats and what do you know that sinks? Which of these items will float or sink? Dandelions, driftwood, and a rock. Will this egg float or will it sink? What questions do you have? What do you think happened?
So thanks to Rod for the idea last week, because he talked to us about the float or sink and his wife doing this egg experiment. So it gave us an idea. But basically that one, like it sets up like the general stuff, like, yeah, we know those things float and that thing sinks. But then it's promoting like, well, why did that happen? Why did the one egg sink and why is that color different? So then it can spark conversation, could be connected to science.
I think there's lots here. I feel like kids get so much out of it. They see things that we don't, and they wonder things that we already know, right? So it is interesting to see what they get out of small little videos.
Yeah, and these are just little mini video clips that I just uploaded to Clips, the app Clips. And then, yeah, it doesn't have any music, but it's thinking and there's some words in there. Ready for the next one?
Okay, so this is my video. Yeah, you can play as we'll chat afterwards. Your hands can do lots and lots of things. So yeah, I made this video because I thought I was thinking about junior kids and they need to know all about the human body systems. So I was thinking, oh, how can we spark their curiosity in that? And then have a little discussion about muscles and what makes things move, and nerves and your brain and everything, and then maybe go into the different kinds of body systems. I mean, the kids might take it a totally different way, but that was my thought behind doing that.
And what did you use to make this happen?
I also use clips for this one, and maybe it seems really fancy, but I just took a whole bunch of quick little videos and put them together in clips. You just get them from your camera feed, and then you can add music there, and it already has a sound track, and I just picked one of the soundtracks, and then it just adds it, and that was it.
So that, like those, when we're talking about those like videos, so you're just taking your iPad, you videotape something, like you videotape somebody doing something with their hands. You took about 5 or 10 of them. And then all you do is like, when you open the Clips app, it's all ready for you. Like, it's so simple. You just got to go plus, like, I want to pick from my library. You go to the library, you click on the little video that you want, it uploads it, and then you just press record. It records that section, and then it's done. Like, it's really simple to use.
And then it just plays it for you.
Okay, next one. We're running out of time. We got 5.
I know, my gosh, we don't even get a hot topics.
Okay.
We can skip this one if you want to move on.
Okay, want to go to, well, we have a provocation for hot topics. We can't do it all.
We can't. Oh my gosh, we're running out of time. We need an hour-and-a-half session.
Yeah. Okay, so these are some options. We talked about that last week. These are some ways we can upload, and now you have the YouTube way to upload. So we are going to have a breakout. Are we going to do it? I don't know. I think we should just not.
I think we should just go to hot topics. I feel like we got 5 minutes. We got to throw some things out there, but we should show this guy.
Okay. So this is a provocation video that we thought could get our hot topics started. There's no sound here. Okay, I'm gonna go back. So can you understand how this person is feeling and why? So that was kind of the provocation that we wanted to use with you to, we were gonna send you out to some rooms, some breakout rooms, to have a conversation about, like, you know, what's on your mind these days. Leslie saying, yep, she can identify with that. It's not like, everything's not simple, and there's a lot of learning, and, you know, when learning happens, it's like, you know, you're having to work through it as you're going, and so everything takes longer, but it does speed up. So this was our prompt, just to like into our hot topics. So we have a couple minutes. Is there anything anybody wants to discuss? I can't see the chat, so.
You know what? I feel like the chat is up. Yeah.
All of that, yeah.
I know. It's so true, right? And like, I was even thinking the live teacher support that was in the memo that came out, and interpreting that as like, it's different than live teaching. It's not live teaching, it's live teacher support. And we have to remember that there's a big difference there. And I hope that people are taking that as like, you know, yeah, like Leslie showed, you're having live teacher support in that Google Meet and doing that Jamboard. And it doesn't have to look like that. It could just be a Google Meet with your class, and then someone asks the question and you're just supporting them, right? It doesn't have to be you know, demonstrating everything right here.
Yeah, it could be like 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock that you have the live meet. And so then, yeah, so Gwendolyn's saying she does drop-in hours. So that meet link, they could go the meet link, and then you have the whiteboard up. So if anybody asks questions, you can actually draw and show to just like you would do in the classroom to make it easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Kate, I've got a question about report cards.
Yes.
Okay. So we were all getting the message, right, that we're not to use eyes on the report cards very often. But I want to know if you know, like, let's take my dance, which I didn't really get to dance yet for this term. So what if I give out a dance project to the kids that are doing the online work and they all submit it? Can I give a dance mark to those kids and give eyes to the ones that didn't?
From my understanding, I think that's a yes.
Okay.
Don't
Pam?
you think, Sally?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. And Pam's here, so we'll let Pam answer it. She's
Yes. Well, I'm just echoing that is true because we asked that exact question about eyes. And so some students you will, what an eye means is you have insufficient evidence to fairly assess the student. So if you have, like I'm thinking about kids that do a little dance routine, you give them like a challenge out there, provocation, can you create a challenge, a dance routine with this song? And you get 8 kids that come back and create something, absolutely assess them on that. And you could give those kids an assessment for dance. The other ones that you don't feel like you have evidence to fairly assess them, then that would be fine. And we also have to remember looking at our curriculum, dance isn't always just performance too. So some students may be interested in looking at a couple of different dance styles, like Gretchen has shared with us some Indigenous resources. So like comparing like Indigenous powwow dancing to another, communities dancing, like that could be something that they use in the video piece and then students respond to that. So yes, absolutely. You don't have to give everybody in your class an eye. You can, if there's evidence that fairly assesses the students, you can do that.
Okay, so we can pick and choose basically like based on how much we have.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Hi, friend.
Hi, I'm about to go out and play CrossNet with Karen because it's her birthday.
Aww.
Yeah,
Is she in here? Happy birthday, Karen.
Happy birthday, Karen. Yeah.
Pam, there's one more question in the
Yep.
chat there if you want to. So it says, how does that translate to math strands where the work was done?
Yeah.
With parental assistance.
So again, so is teacher judgment, you know that, right? So then that might be the opportunity to use some language in your next step piece and saying like, so, with support, so, Sally's able to, sort geometric solids and describe their characteristics. Like, or you say like, by following a model, like you could maybe preface it that, or just say go more independent with that type of activity. So it might be that element in the next steps piece. I think we have to realize, like, if we go back to what Growing Success guides us to do, what has been learned, what has been a success for that child, and then what's next for them in the learning. So success might be like they were able to problem solve them, and converse with others to help them understand the math problem. And the next step might be focused on like what's next in the curriculum piece. So, like not practicing math facts, up to 7 times tables might not be that specific, but it might be saying, well, what's next in the curriculum? Say if it's in, if we're talking measurements, our grade 5s and 6 kids, we're looking on measurement of quadrilaterals. So like maybe looking at, so what's next for them, use the basics of what do we know about rectangles? We apply that to parallelograms. So you can just talk about what's next in that curriculum piece too.
And I just want to add, like Gwendolyn's saying, and I hear her, like I understand why she's feeling that, like she's saying it's confusing, nothing counts after March 13th. And then it's okay to use your professional judgment. Yeah, so it's like if it can improve the teach, if it can improve the students' mark, then yes, it can count, but we can't take away marks because of we don't know the situation. It could be a difficult situation that it's not the child's fault. They haven't had the chance to participate, so that's why.
Like I'm a chatty Cathy, right? So like I like that opportunity to have conversations, and sometimes online learning doesn't, you as a teacher with your class, there's a whole lot of reasons why students may not be able to voice their knowledge and understanding. So you can think back to, you're not going to penalize a kid because you value the conversation that they used to use to show what they know in the classroom. But we have an EPO memo came out today, and it talked about us using our professional judgment about, looking back to gather the evidence. So I would encourage people to go and read that as well as our board memo. Because I was thinking about, our kids didn't learn how to read between February after report cards went out to March 14th. Like they developed their reading from the whole year. So we can be looking and gathering evidence about, those sorts of things. We can look back and say, how they've changed, how they've developed and grown over time before we get into term 2 evaluation.
I think we have to go, unfortunately. Rod's got to get going to another meeting.
Yeah.
But thanks for that, Pam. We'll have to have you back next week because I feel like there's more to it.
Yeah, I think we're with Sense of Communication, but some learning times for if you're new to writing report cards, there'll be some supports coming out for next week. And yeah, I'll pop in and visit in the other divisions too about if you have report card questions, because we're all in this together.
The link is right there for everything that was in today's session. Sorry, we're so rushed.
I know.
If
Thanks for
anyone-
coming, everybody.
Yeah.
Just if anybody wants to grab the chat, those 3 dots in the bottom right-hand corner of the chat, you have the option
I
of
got
saving
it.
it to your computer, okay? That was amazing. I wish I could stay and talk about it. There's so many things that were really awesome. I'm looking forward to next week, but I got something else I got to do. Thanks
Yeah.
a lot.
Thanks, Rod.
I'm going to stop share and end.